Welcome to the Joyride podcast. I am so excited that you are here with me today. My name is Rebekah Joy. I'm a life coach, a motivational speaker, and your host. This is a space where we get real, we get raw, and we certainly are getting very honest with ourselves. Here we're talking about real growth. I'm talking the kind that changes how you see yourself, how you trust yourself, and how you decide to move throughout your life. We are exploring confidence, embodiment, intuition, identity, wellness, and the inner work behind real life transformation. You do not need to have it all figured out to be here because trust me, I certainly don't. There is no pressure to perform or become something or someone else. This podcast is meant to feel like home. It's a place where you can come back to and settle in and feel seen and celebrated and really reconnect with what matters most to you. So if you are ready to live with more alignment, certainty, and self-trust, you're exactly in the right place. So let's begin. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Joyride podcast. This is going to be a very special episode today because I have a very exciting announcement to make. And I usually don't write notes for my podcast episodes. I simply just channel and I flow. And I thought before sitting down to record this one, should I pull up my new website? Should I write out some notes? And then I was like, no, I'm just going to speak from the heart, share everything that I have to share with you. And we're just going to hope that I hit on every note. And if not, you will be hearing a lot more from me about this in the coming weeks. So let's get into it. Welcome back to the Joyride podcast. As always, I am so happy that you have chosen to spend your precious time and energy with me today. And let's get right into it. Well, first of all, let me congratulate us all on making it through to our energetic new year. Obviously, that's what last episode was all about, but now we are officially in the new year. Last week's episode, we were just days away. Well, when it came out 2 days before the new year. Yes, because it was on the 20th. But now, I don't know, it's just we're actually in it, right? We're in Aries season. We're fully, we've been in the year of the fire horse, but it just feels like we're fully fucking in it. And something that came through for me this weekend was okay, bitch, there's no more excuses. And I think it's great to be able to hit that point for not just me, but for me to remind you, we all can procrastinate and we all can let this excuse get in the way and this timeline and it's not time yet. And it's bull fucking shit, okay? There are no more excuses. It is time to fucking go for it. If your new year did not start in January, well, bitch, it's starting now. So let's get into this new year and everything that's to come. So with that, yes, I have a very exciting announcement to make today. And I'm going to share all of the backstory of why I'm doing this, how it came about, what to expect, and basically everything that you need to know. So I am launching a group program on Tuesday, April 14th. Well, I'm launching it by the time that you hear this episode, we will be launched. But it starts on Tuesday, April 14th, and this is a group program. But this is unlike anything that I've personally seen before, and I've never done something like this, which is why it makes it that much more exciting, and I'm only offering this. So it's called The New Era, and it is a space for 20 women, and I am manifesting the shit out of these 20 women that are walking through this door to come meet me inside the new era. But what's so different about this group program is that there is an option to have what I'm calling a VIP upgrade, which also means that you are going to be able to work with me privately and directly within this program. So it is a group program. We will be having bi-weekly group sessions, which will be 90 minutes. But then you also have that option to upgrade, and there will only be 5 spots for you to upgrade if you are interested. So on top of these group calls, you will also be getting one-on-one sessions with me. Now, before I get into more of the details, I want to share with you, even before I get into like what the heck this program is, the backstory of this. So let's go back to the beginning of the year. I was going through just a long period of healing and resting and just really getting my energy back up. That basically took from August, from when I moved here to North Carolina, to the end of the year. And I allowed myself to fully have that rest, even though I was fully still making these podcast episodes and I was going hard on Substack. It has always been very, very, very hard for me to let go of this. And when I say this, I mean my podcast, writing, my business, because it's all an extension of me. And like so much of my identity is rooted in being a source of empowerment for others, being a coach, being a speaker. And so I was allowing myself to give myself that time to rest and heal. But I still really had no idea what was on the horizon for me and my business and what the heck I was doing. And so slowly over time, I let myself detach and detach and detach some more. And so at the beginning of the year, I felt this surge of energy, like, okay, I don't know what the heck I'm really doing, but I'm ready to get back into it and I'm ready to pour my energy back into it. So I was offering human design readings and things were definitely starting to speed up for me. But after the month of January had passed and I was really locked in, like January for me, Capricorn season was very much so like heads down. We're in it. We're creating new structures, new systems, new foundations. And that felt really good. And it always feels really good to me in January. But I still was like, I don't really know what's going to come of this, but I'm going to continue to show up for this podcast and just like show up for the process and see what happens. And so what took place after January was me really sitting with myself and being like, do I need to fully release everything that I'm doing? Because my main focus, as you know from listening to this podcast, is that I'm moving to Miami and I'm starting a new life in Miami. And that requires me letting go of a lot of baggage and a lot of past narratives, identities, just like the shit that really holds us back. So I got to this point where I was like, listen, God, I'm gonna get there one way or another. And I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but I know that I'm supposed to be there. So I basically put together the whole itinerary for my Miami trip. I went on my Miami trip. It was amazing. And I still was just fully letting go and surrendering and was allowing the universe to just continue to work through me and move me. And I had the best time and I came back and still I didn't really have full clarity. Oh, by the way, sorry, it just got super windy outside. So if you're hearing some crazy noises, it is the wind. That is wild. Okay, so I get back from this trip and I want to say that within like the first 4 to 5 days that I'd come back, I was kind of just I was thrown for a loop. I was going through such an energetic dip. I mean, you know the feeling, right? Like you go somewhere you're like, oh my God, this is going to be my future life. And then you come back to your current life and you're like, whoa, okay, holy shit. Like I knew before that I was not supposed to be here, but like, oh my fucking God, I am really not supposed to be here. So I was sitting in that energy. That Friday, I got this download out of nowhere to launch a group program. And let me tell you something. In the 3 years that I've been running my business, I have done one semi-group program, but it was a challenge. It was a very low price. I think it was like under $50, and it was a 21-day challenge, I believe. Something along the lines of that. I have never felt called to do a group program. But I know that this download came to me at the perfect time, because that's what happens with these messages from God. And I have felt over the past few years, as I've gotten these crazy downloads that come from nowhere. And when I say come from nowhere, I mean, I'm not thinking about this. It literally, I'm just doing whatever throughout my day, and I just like get this divine download, and I'm like, okay, so that came directly and straight from God. And what it feels like in my body is it feels like a pure truth. And so when I get these downloads, and I've gotten a few within the past month or so, not pertaining to any type of like business sense, more so like personal downloads, but it's almost just like, okay, so there's no room for negotiation. This is just what it is. Thank you so much, God, for this message. I got it. I hear you. Okay, let's do something with it, and let's run with this message. So I got that on the Friday that I got back, and I was like, holy fuck. Okay, so what does that mean? I'm launching a group program. I've never done this before. What does that mean? Am I still offering everything else that I used to offer? If you are unfamiliar, for the past 3 years, I've been offering human design chart reading sessions. I've also been offering other sessions that I've changed the name of a few times, but they've been clarity sessions, breakthrough sessions, where we are going into more than just your human design chart to give you guidance and clarity. We're more so looking at like astrology and human design and just like what I'm feeling intuitively. So it's just kind of a mix of like all of the systems and gifts into one session. And then on top of that, I've always offered one-on-one coaching containers for either 3 or 6 months. So that system that I was running was starting to feel in January very outdated. And it just really wasn't sitting well with me. I'm like, there is no movement. Things aren't happening. It feels way too open-ended. And I was wrestling a lot intrinsically with like, what am I doing with all this? And so I was doing a little digging on my own astrological chart, which we love to do. And I realized that I had launched my business in January 2023. And I had started my Saturn return, I think it was like just shy of 2 months after that. So basically the way that I like to think it is, I was running the entirety of this coaching business in my Saturn return. If you've been through your Saturn return, you know this shit will fuck you up. My life the past few years has felt so hard and so challenging. And granted, my whole span of my 20s have been full of like really crazy emotional roller coasters and challenges and hardships, whether that's like in money or love or just some crazy heavy shit. But the last 3 years specifically have felt so expansive and so beautiful and so illuminating, and I've had really amazing things happen. But all the while that these things are happening, everything has felt like it takes me so much work and so much effort, and I'm having to push things and force things, and it just has felt so fucking hard. And so I'm going to be honest with you, because I always am on this podcast. I got to this point at the beginning of the year after that first month, and I was like, do I just let this shit go? Like, I know now that I had to fully release this attachment that I had to this identity within this career that I have been building, but I more so think of it as like I've been trying to build so hard for the past 3 years and just not feeling like things are really clicking and sitting well. And yes, I have seasons where things are happening, but then I have seasons where nothing's happening, and it just has felt like it's all over the place. I have no strategy. I have no structure. I have no systems. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Am I ready to just let this go? And I'll just have this podcast and have my free space. So I had that moment before I went to Miami. I came back, and then I got this download, and I was like, it's always funny to me, because I've experienced this many, many times in my life. And I'm sharing all of the ins and outs with you and all the details. And I'm not just sitting here and selling you this program, even though I could, because I really want you to understand that, like, I am a human being who's just fucking going for it. That's all that I've ever known about myself. That's what feels so truthful and so right for me. And it makes me even emotional saying that right now, because that's all I've ever known. All I've ever known is just to fucking go for it and to keep on moving and to know that, like, I may go through seasons of my life where I'm just so confused. I don't know how it's going to work out. I feel defeated. I feel so alone. It feels so hard. I also know how to bounce back. I know how to continue to get myself up off the ground, and I know how to keep it moving. So I was very excited when I got this download, but I was also like fucking perplexed. I was like, wait, what? Like I was just ready to just like let things kind of go for a second, focus on like getting my ass to Miami, dating, meeting the love of my life, and then like maybe we'll pick it back up. And I share that with all of you, not to say that I stopped believing in myself, but this is what surrendering is really about. And I have been on the surrendering journey for quite some time. And I think it's one of those concepts where it's actually very hard to understand fully unless you go through an experience yourself personally where you fully have to learn how to surrender and detach and let go. And for me, I've really learned how to do that when it comes to my identity, especially when it comes to, or maybe just my identity in and of itself, like being the gym girl, being the wellness girl, being this self-development coach, like all of these names and titles that I've given myself. And I've really had to learn, like, if all of this goes away tomorrow, what do I have at the end of the day? I have my energy, I have my spirit, and my heart, truly. And when I have those three things, I can create anything again. But it's like at that point, you're not even going to want to create the same thing again. You're just going to want to create something entirely different because you are entirely different. So when I got this idea, I then had to ask the question of like, okay, so what does the format look like? Am I still getting to coach people one-on-one? Because that is something that I do not want to let go of. I love coaching one-on-one. I love being in that private, sacred space with someone and us going so deep and having these crazy epiphanies about life. And just, to me, that is like the biggest gift that I have been given in being a coach. Like, yes, of course, it's fun to have those one-off sessions where you meet someone, but really what I crave and what I love being a coach is that I get to help nourish these relationships. It's definitely like very, both like the Virgo sun in me and the Cancer rising in me. Like I just know that I'm practicing being a mother and being a coach because I really feel like a mama bear for every single one of my clients. And I've had plenty of clients who are much older than me, but still nonetheless, I feel that same way. So I knew that I could not let that go. And so I had to really kind of sit with myself and understand like, okay, so I'm being told and instructed that I'm here to create a group program, but I'm still going to be offering one-on-one spaces within that. So it was so cool to see how this is all coming together. Now, when it comes to what this program is about, it's called The New Era. And it's called The New Era for a reason. So this chapter of my life, personally, feels like I am walking into an entirely new era. And why I am so fucking excited about this program is because I've never done something that has felt so personal to me. I have launched things in the past that have felt like, these like extensions of me or like pieces of me, but this really feels like I am walking the same path as you, but I'm able to help guide you and lead you. But like I have a destination that I will be in the next 3 months. And that is my promise to you as well. Because this is a 90-day space or a 90-day container. You are going to wake up in a different environment in 90 days. I promise you that. So I really felt so much inspiration coming back from this Miami trip. And so when I got this idea, I'm like, oh my God, like nothing has felt this true before, because what I'm experiencing feels like a full body transformation and a full body embodiment, literally. And so I'm like, oh, this is something that I can easily not only like share with people and help inspire them and motivate it, but like I am going through the same thing in my life right now. And it is so important to surround yourself with people that you feel so much resonance with. So let's go and let's dive a little bit deeper into why this is a group. When I think back on my personal development journey, specifically around the time that I had just moved to Austin, I was in a place in my life where I had just quit my corporate job of a whopping 6 months, might I add, and I was getting into the online space and was very interested in becoming an Amazon FBA seller. And at that time, I was introduced to a few people who I'd met back in Fremont, California, which is where I'm from. And basically, long story short, I was put into this program where these few people were teaching us how to become Amazon FBA sellers. This was really the first time in my life that I had stepped foot into some type of business personal development program. I think it was more so advertised and marketed as we're going to teach you how to sell on Amazon and become a bestseller and make a fuck ton of money and all that. But really, they introduced us to so many fundamental personal development practices and rituals, and just there was so much personal development involved. And I had been learning personal development on my own for quite some time, but it was I had never been surrounded by people who were so into both the personal development and the business side of things. And I was just this is so fucking cool that I attracted this opportunity in my life. And I'm now surrounded by all of these women. There were men too, but specifically the women were the people that I, grew really, really close with. And I grew close with I want to say it was 7 or 8 women. And I just remember sitting with myself and thinking oh my God, this is the first time in my life where I'm actually meeting people and I'm in a space with people who are where I'm at energetically. And I say energetically because that's very, very important. I have always had a ton of friends in my life. I was in a sorority, but something changes within you once you hit that point. For me, it was in my mid-20s. But when you are walking that path of I think kind of going over to the spiritual side, there's a lot of resonance between people who are entrepreneurs, who love business and are very spiritually inclined and love personal development. So that was really the beginning of me being surrounded by like-minded people that I felt so much resonance within. And it was whenever I was on these calls, I was so motivated. I was so inspired. It literally felt like I was in a different world. It was so crazy. And then you would get off those calls and just feel oh my God, I can fucking do this. I can create my dream life. It was such a euphoric feeling. Obviously, Amazon did not work out for me, but what did work out for me was the friendships that I took away from this. And these women who are still to this day, there are multiple women that I'm still incredibly close with, some of my best friends, ride or die people. And so that was the very beginning of me, I feel attracting those types of people in my life. And so after the Amazon FBA thing fell through, I went off, and took a different path, pivoted, adapted as entrepreneurs do. But when I created my business, I was then exposed and put into environments very selectively. And I know this because there were environments that I put myself in, like Equinox and Soho House, and just these very luxe, high caliber environments that weren't only bougie and beautiful and rich in aesthetics, but in these environments were people who were entrepreneurial and artistic and creative and were more so doing the things that I was interested in. Even I remember one of the gyms that I was a member of called The Collective, and it was built for athletes and entrepreneurs. So I was literally plugging myself into all of these environments, and now years later down the line, I can understand like how I was able to do this. But at the time, I don't think that I was very conscious of like, how am I able to do this? How am I able to attract these incredible people into my life? These people that I'm becoming friends with, that are inspiring me, that are motivating me, that when I'm around them, I feel like I'm on their level. And let me tell you something. I have been around people who are making crazy, like fuck you money. People who I have been so inspired by for many, many years of my life, who I just like so happened to meet them at the right place, at the right time, sit down with them, have like 3-hour-long conversations with them. I mean, it really is crazy when I look back at like what being in Austin truly brought for me over the span of those 6 years. And it really all started with me going down this entrepreneurial path and getting into Amazon. And I'd done a few entrepreneurial like ventures before moving there, but living in the Bay Area, like I never felt like I attracted the crowds that I wanted to attract, because my soul knew like we just got to get ourselves out of here. So really the purpose of this program is all about shifting 3 things. And this is the core of what the program is that we're going to be doing over the next 90 days. Shifting your identity, shifting your environment, and shifting your fucking standards, girlfriend. Because those 3 things will create this new era of yours. So the more that I thought about all of the people that I've been able to attract over the years, starting in that Amazon program, people that I'm still in contact with today, being a Soho House partner, being at Equinox, being in these like high caliber environments, even when I moved here, I was very set on like, you know what, I'm just going to be here to like heal and rest and like figure things out, create a new foundation for myself. And I met the most incredible women. And I'm just like, what would I do without them? Truly. So in saying all of that, it is so important for me to be able to offer you the gift of proximity. Now let's break that down. Proximity. What that means is you are being plugged into an ecosystem. You are being plugged into an environment where the people are just like you. I cannot stress how important this is and why having this ecosystem, this environment, and on top of that, the right coach, the right mentor, the right person to guide you is so important. Now, I have worked one-on-one with healers, with coaches, with practitioners for a very, very long time. I would say like ever since I moved to Austin. So over 7 years. And I have always been the one to say, real change, like true real change happens when you are working with someone one-on-one, because I have been in groups before and I have done programs before where, you sit in, you're a part of a group and like, okay, it's a numbers game. So it's not going to work out for everyone. Like for Amazon, didn't work out for me, didn't work out for any of the women who I'm still close with, but a lot of us are still, really connected and we're all doing our own thing. So just because that one thing that we initially went in for didn't work for us, we all found our path and we're all still connected in some way and still there for each other and motivate each other and inspire one another. But when it comes to the people that you surround yourself with, these people are either expanding you or they are keeping you stuck and they are keeping you in the same place. And I have dealt with both ends of the spectrum, which I'm sure you have too. You know what it feels like to be around those people that when you're with them, you're like, oh my God, this is just such a breath of fresh air. I feel inspired. I feel motivated. I feel like the best version of myself. I feel so good. And then you're around those people where you're like, no, I don't feel good. They don't understand me. They don't see me. There just is no resonance. And then you have those people who, are kind of just like your comfort zone. And like, God bless them. I have plenty of friends that are in totally different stages of life than me, but they are still huge parts of my life. But that is not what we're doing here specifically. I am curating and creating this environment so that the women that walk through these doors, the women who are in this space with you, are right there with you energetically. There is going to be so much resonance between what your vision is, what your dreams are, and what they're working towards. And so I have realized that, not only are we going to be crafting and creating a new identity for you and a whole new set of standards for you, but it's also so important for us to really be focused on the environment, the ecosystem. And that goes within this group and having this community, but also for me as the coach and as the guide to make sure that you are putting yourself in the right physical environment. This was very much so and was inspired by Miami, because when I was there, I felt on top of the world, which I knew I would feel because I've been to Miami a handful of times and I've always felt really good there. But specifically for where I'm at in my life right now, when I was there last month, the amount of peace and ease and like femininity that I felt within myself, I felt like I could do anything. I could have anything that I wanted in my life. And to me, that is like the best fucking feeling that you can have in the world as a feminine woman, as not just a feminine woman, but an intuitive, creative, entrepreneurial type of feminine woman who's more so like, fuck the system, I'm going to do my own thing. To have that feeling from within is truly top tier. And so coming back and recognizing that, I'm like, oh my God, I need to make something where I can help people craft and curate this new era. Because if you are someone that is living somewhere, I don't care where it is, and you're like, I have outgrown this. This doesn't feel like me. I wake up every day and I feel anxiety and stress and fear because I'm like, I know that I'm not supposed to be here. And that doesn't need to always mean like, oh my God, my life is so fucking horrible and everything sucks. But let me tell you something. I am always adapting and shifting and evolving. And so oftentimes when I am ready to enter that next era of my life, things start to become really hard for me. And I feel it so much within my physical body. Even now, where I'm at, I'm actually moving this week into one of my best friend's places. And that was not necessarily on my bingo card for 2026 per se, because I thought that I would go straight from my parents' house to Miami. But I fully trust in this new era, and I just know that with this new move happening, with me launching this program, it is all a part of the divine plan and how I am moving to Miami. And so when it comes to being in that physical environment and being really conscious of how does this make me feel, not just your physical environment, but this identity that you have for yourself within that physical environment, because your environment is going to make or break you. Truly, like time and time and time again, year after year after year, I come back to this. And if I could teach you anything, it would be choose your environment very wisely, because it is going to make or break you. And so that's what this program is all about. It's about creating this new identity, creating your ideal environment so that you actually do thrive. Because you know what I'm just so tired of feeling for myself personally and for other women? That we're the problem. This is coming from a girl who has been notorious for year after year after year. It's like I'm always doing so much healing, so much self-development work, so much self-improvement, year after year after year. And I forget that it doesn't need to be that hard. Granted, I will say, coming out of my Saturn return, like, listen, you gotta throw me a bone, because for the past 3 years being in that crazy shit, things just feel 10 times harder than they actually are. And I think they just are 10 times harder than they actually need to be. But the more that I step away and I see, like, how have I been able to get here? How have I been able to create these new identities? How have I been able to plug myself into these environments where it is everything that I could ever want for myself? And because of that, I feel so expansive. I feel like anything is possible for me. I feel like, oh, this like big, beautiful dream life of mine that I think about every single fucking day, like, oh, that can actually happen. Because when you're in an environment that is not right for you, that's genuinely not serving you, you are going to feel the complete opposite. I know that you have felt this before. I have felt this many times in my life, and that's why I am stressing the importance of understanding that your environment makes or breaks you. So in this program, for 3 months, you are going to be surrounded by women who are literally just like you. Truly. And I don't just say that like, oh, like the women are like just like you. Like, no, these are women who, I don't even want to really use the word ambition because I'm so fucking tired of hearing that word. Like, this is for like ambitious women. And it's like, I don't see myself. I don't really identify with being an ambitious woman. I identify with being a very deeply devoted, passionate woman who like wants to make her fucking dreams come true. I have no intent on hustling my way to get there. And that is not what I'm marketing this program as. Like, I don't believe in working yourself to the fucking bone all to get somewhere in your career, all to like make some money. Because guess what? I'm in an era of my life where I fully understand that I will be protected and provided for by my partner. And so that is the identity that I've created for myself. Those are the standards that I've created for myself. And that's why I know how to strategically put myself in environments where those men are at, basically. And so what this program is all about is you defining who it is that you want to become. Because I promise you, and I'm sure that you're sitting here right now and if this at all is resonating with you, you're like, yeah, so hearing you talk about this, I'm understanding that where I'm at is not going to get me to where I want to go. You need to be so fucking for real with yourself. You need to be so honest with yourself. Like, your environment could be very easily blocking you, like literally cock blocking you from getting everything that you want. And I don't say that lightly. And I hope that you don't take that lightly because it is so fucking true. Your environment shapes everything in your life, and you have the opportunity to plug and play, which is like the coolest thing in the world. If you are open to it, God has shown me time and time and time again, as long as I'm open to it, I will be placed in the right rooms. And what happens when you're placed in those right rooms? Then you need to be able to take up space, which is something that not a lot of women are capable of doing. And you may be one of them. You have these big dreams, you have these huge goals, which you fucking should. Your dreams should be big. They should terrify you. They should scare you in the sense of you sitting with yourself and being like, okay, these dreams are so big. How in the fuck am I going to make them happen? Because I have been there so many times. And in the position that I'm in my life, I now know, because I understand, because I've gone through easily one of the hardest chapters of my life. I'm like, I'm not getting there alone. I have no intention of getting there alone. I also understand that it's not that I'm not powerful. And it's not that you are not powerful, because you are more powerful than you believe. You truly are. And know that anything that you want is possible for you. But what I want you to understand is you don't have to do this all on your own. Because when you are in the right environment, when you are surrounded by people who think like you, who act like you, who believe similar things in you. Now we have to be very careful about this, right? Because if you're sitting here and you're like, I don't believe in myself, I think that I'm a piece of shit, I don't think that I'm going to amount to anything, you don't want to be surrounded by people who are just going to feed into that. No, you want to put yourself strategically in an environment that counters that belief, that reminds you, actually, what you're telling yourself is really full of shit right now. You can create anything that you want in your life. You are more powerful than you believe. You're just simply scared. You are scared of yourself. It is so important to be in a safe and supportive environment that allows you to thrive, which is what this new era is all about, and being in this beautiful space and this container for 90 days. But on top of that, having the option to work one-on-one with me, with a coach, with a mentor, with the right guide. Going back to what I said before, I always believed that, growth happens pretty much only when you're working one-on-one with people. What I failed to realize is that it wasn't just me working one-on-one with these people, with these coaches, with these healers. Yes, it brought me incredible change in my life, but who was there to support me in my personal ecosystem and in my environment when I'm out of that session? Because let me tell you something, you can be in the most amazing session for someone or with someone for an hour, 2 hours, but what happens when you walk outside of that session? What happens when you're on such a high and then you're brought back down to earth and you're like, okay, well now fuck me. That was so great. That was so amazing. That was so motivating and inspiring. But now how am I actually going to do all of that? And then you feel overwhelmed. And then you go into freeze mode. And then you go into stress and frustration and like, well, I may as well not even try because it just feels like way too much for me. I have also been there time and time again. So to me, when I had this idea for this program, I thought, how do I combine both of these elements? Because truly, I believe that you need both. You need to have that right person to guide you, to lead you, but you also need to have those people around you that support you, that keep you grounded, that are there with you energetically, that you feel so much resonance with. The way that these two things complement each other so well, that is how I've gotten myself to where I have been. That is how I will continue to support myself and guide myself. Because yes, I love my coaches, I love my therapists, but oh my God, where would I be without my girls? Literally, I don't know. But I also don't know where I would be without all of these incredible people that I've been able to work with one-on-one. So that is the new era. I'm sure that there are millions of other things that I could talk about in this program, but I wanted to share that with you because I wanted to give you the backstory of how this all came about. And really, truly, this is something that is so personal to me because I am at the threshold of, I've already stepped into that new era and I fully feel that for myself. And I also say that because physically I may be in North Carolina, but like energetically, spiritually, I am not here anymore. I'm like already building and creating that new life for myself. And that's not me being naive, and that's not me being ignorant, and that's not me owning and accepting exactly where I am, because that is also a huge part of what we will be working on together, is fully and honestly owning up to exactly wherever it is that you are. Because in order to get yourself out of there and to move on with your life and to create an entirely new era for yourself, you have to be direct with yourself. You have to be honest with where you're at and what you are no longer willing to accept. But let me tell you something. If you are listening to this and you're like, this all sounds great, but I just am not ready to leave this comfortable life of mine. I'm not ready to accept that wherever it is that I'm living, what I'm experiencing, my job, my relationship, my friends, the city that I'm living in, if I'm not ready to accept that, then you're not ready to move on. And this is most definitely not for you. But if you are listening to this and you're like, okay, wow, oh my God, I needed to hear this. I promise you that there is a new city for you, that there is a new relationship for you, a new job, a new way of being. Because yes, I can default and say like, oh, like, it's because of like Miami that like all of my dreams are going to come true. But like, who did I have to become in order to get myself there? In order to know that like when I am there, I am the woman of my dreams. I had to do a lot of back end work to be able to understand that, to fully be in that space and to understand what was happening in my body. A lot of people don't understand, like, seriously, like the emotions and the feelings and the energetics of what takes place within our body. There have been so many places before I knew about human design and astrology and all of this like ancient wisdom and all of this knowledge that I do now know, I just knew that some things felt really good and some things felt really, really, really off. I do not want you to continue to live your life stalling your blessings, cock blocking your blessings, simply because you are in a shitty fucking environment. Because let me tell you, if your life fucking sucks, it's most likely because your environment fucking sucks. And I say that with so much love because you can change that. You will be able to change that within this program. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to walk you through everything that I know. And if there's anything that you know about me by now, I keep it fucking real. I'm very direct. I'm very honest. This is not just another woo-woo bullshit spiritual program. I will say, I was navigating some beef within the spiritual development or, like personal development world before this. I was even telling a girlfriend that I was staying with in Miami for a night. I was like, I just like cannot deal with all of the coaches that I see online talking about like the abundance and the manifestation and this and that. And it just felt so gross to me. It felt so like, what are you even trying to tell me? Like, it feels like fluff. It feels like air. And so I knew when I got this idea that was given to me by God, because it was a divine download, I was like, okay, but I need to make this as grounded and as real as possible. And it is so real because I am creating it in real time for myself as I'm giving it to you. It is so personal to me on every level, but I've also done this for years and years and years. Just now, my perspective on it feels so different because I'm right at, the beginning stages of creating another new era for myself, which is me, like Bex in Miami. This is an entirely new era for myself. And so it's so cool to be able to look back on my past and see how all of the dots have been connected. And I'm able to use my human design knowledge, my astrology knowledge, my energetics knowledge, Kabbalah, and all this ancient wisdom, and just truly like my real life experience and everything that I know about how to create this next era of your life. And I'm not saying that in 3 months, I think it's a little naive, especially of these coaches, to be like, in 3 months, we're going to change every single thing about your life. It's like, I'm going to help you create the next phase of your life so that you can go on to continue to create amazing, magical, magnificent things. I promise you that. Can I promise you that in 3 months, you're going to make $1 billion, meet the love of your life, and, move to Hawaii? And it's like, that sounds like a lot to do in 3 months. But I also know that we are at such a pivotal time in our lives right now where, again, there's no more excuses left. Like, we are truly at the beginning again. We are at ground zero again. We are in that 1 year. We're in the year of the fire horse. We're in Aries season, baby. Like, we just had the spring equinox. Like, it doesn't get fresher than this, truly. And so let's capitalize the fuck out of this energy. Let's go in and let's strategically put ourselves in an ecosystem, in an environment where our dreams, the things that we want for our life, our vision of our life, it gets to be so much easier for us. I am telling you, you do not need to fight for this life that you want, but you need fucking direction. You need direction. You need clarity. You need to decide, and you need to make a choice that this is what you want. You need to decide, I am done waking up every day, looking around my life and feeling like this is not my life that I want. You need to decide that you are done. So be smart, show up for yourself, and know that you will be surrounded by people who are right there with you. You will be guided, you will be led, and I promise you that you are going to walk out of this 3-month space in 90 days, and you will be a different person. Maybe you're living in an entirely new city. I promise you that it's possible. Like, crazy things happen for people every single day. So that is the new era. I will, of course, be leaving all of the information down below. How to sign up. I have 2 options. One is to just sign up for the new era, which is the group calls. 6 calls that will be happening bi-weekly. They will be 90 minutes because we are going in on each of these calls. But then I have a second option, which is that VIP upgrade. So you will receive everything that's in the new era, which is the group calls. You will be put into a group text with everyone in the program, and you will have access to me outside of those group calls, because that is such an important piece of this process, is having that ongoing communication and conversation and having that exchange of energy. But with the VIP upgrade, you also will be working with me twice a month and having 2 additional 90-minute sessions. So basically, you're going to be seeing me every single week for at least 90 minutes. Now, this is obviously a space in the VIP upgrade where you are getting deeper, more personalized support. So naturally, what can you expect? Things to shift faster. Like, I'm just going to be very honest with you there. Being a part of the group is going to be such a beautiful experience. And of course, you will still be experiencing massive shifts in your life. But if you are like, you know what, bitch, I'm ready to go all fucking in, because that is exactly where I'm at in my life. I'm like, there is no turning back around. The past is in the past. I am only moving forward. I want you to sit here and ask yourself, am I ready to fully go in on this? Because if you are in that position, you are the right person for the VIP upgrade, and there are only 5 spots. I will not be opening up anymore because energetically, I have to give you the absolute best of me. I just have to as a coach. And I will not offer more just to make more money. That is not an option for me. So there are 2 options. And once those VIP spots are filled, they are filled. I will leave all of the information down below. You can read through everything on my website. Please reach out to me if you have questions. This offer will be open until we start, which will be on April 14th, which I know you may be feeling like, oh my God, like that feels kind of far away, because honestly, it feels like kind of far away to me. But I am leaving the doors open because I know that the right people are walking through those doors. This is not a rush. There's not a sense of urgency. I know personally that I'm like, with all this new energy, I am ready to kick things off and get things started. But I also understand that like sometimes people need a little bit more time because maybe they're emotionals like me and they need to sit through and really think this through. So I'm honoring that space. But that is all that I have for you today. I was not expecting to talk that much about this program, but clearly, as you can tell, I am very, very, very excited to be offering this offering to you. And with that, my entire business is going to look very, very different because I'm only focused on this group program right now. I'm not focused on anything else. I do not know what's to come after this, but as of now, this is the only way that you have the option to work with me. There are no more one-off sessions. There are no more just work with me one-on-one. If you want to work with me one-on-one, it has to be within this group container because again, I just so fully believe in having that community aspect. It is so, so important. And I'm just so excited to give you that opportunity to have that, because with each phase and stage of my life being surrounded by these people, it has changed literally my entire life. And I wouldn't be here without it, truly. I would not be in the position that I am without these people that I've met along the way, being in the right environments, in the right spaces at the right time. And I'm just so beyond excited to be able to offer you that gift as well, because you have the opportunity to meet people who will be in your life for the rest of your life. And at the same time, change your fucking life. How much better does that get? So all of the information, pricing will be down below, also on my website. But really quickly, the price for the new era in total is $1,500. I will have payment plan options available. So if you are not comfortable with paying the $1,500 up front, you can pay $500 for 3 months. For the VIP upgrade, it will be an additional $1,500. So that price is $3,000. If you choose to go the payment plan route, that equates to $1,000 for 3 months. So you do have those two options there. But again, all of their information will be listed down below. I'm going to stop talking now because I could ramble forever. Thank you so much for being here, for tuning in for this episode. I seriously cannot wait to work with you and see you within the new era. I don't have any other words besides we are in the new fucking era. We truly are in the new era, and I'm so excited to bring you in, to invite you in, to have you in this space, and to truly create some magical fucking shit together. So I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. All of my information is listed down below. Please reach out to me with any questions. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.